Jim Gazzolo, Heath Schroyer. Heath Schroyer, it is.
I'm
He's
back,
back.
baby. Yeah, hey.
How was Nashville?
It was great. It was really, really good. It was very, very informative.
New job for you?
No. You learn a lot. You go to different conferences. You talk to your peers. We went into a lot of these workshops, if you will, and it was great. I learned a ton. One thing I came back and told my staff is, we have such a limited staff, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we are stretched so thin. And the first thing I did when I got back, Jim, was I went and I thanked everybody because what these guys and what this staff is doing, and with a limited budget and a limited personnel, I'm really, really proud of them. Compared to our peers, I mean, it's, we got people doing the work of 3 people. And it's not just one, it's a group of people. So the first thing I did was just thank them all.
Well, Poke Nation missed you, but Matt Bonnet sat in your seat and did a great job.
I watched it. You did a great job.
Lynn Kennedy was here.
It's
all basketball. Now that you're back again, all basketball this week. It's all basketball. Yes. All right, before we get going into everything else, couple of bits of news. I'll start with Kennesaw State to the CUSA.
Yeah.
Surprised by that because it's them that comes out as the 10th, or?
A little bit, but I know that they were in there. They love the, that Atlanta market. Obviously, it's a huge market, and it's a huge school. Football is good. They've really invested in the last 5 or 6 years into football, and you can see that the fruits of the labor the last few years, they've been really good. We've said it before on this show, they have done over 5 or 6 years what we're now starting to do.
Yeah.
And, it's unfortunate that it's taken, we had such a long time where we stopped
20
investing.
years?
But we are now, but we're playing, we're playing catch up. There's no question about it.
All right. Last week, 3 players kicked off the football team, all defensive backs. Second year in a row. It seemed like this time there was more of a message sent, was there?
Oh, for sure. Let me just say that when Coach called me Sunday morning and told me what happened and told me the entire story of what happened, I asked him a simple question. I said, what do you want to do? And he didn't waver. He said, my standards are my standards, and you know what? These 3 kids made a stupid decision at 3:30 in the morning when we got home, but the standard is a standard. And let's just say that mentality, I didn't have to make the decision from my desk this time. And it made me very proud of who is running this football program, and it made me understand and know again that we have the right guy, and we're going to be good. It's going to take some time, but we have the right guy. We're developing the right culture, and I couldn't be prouder. It's a very unfortunate situation, and 20-year-old kids make mistakes at 3:30 in the morning when they get off the bus and go into their apartment and find some things and not things, and they're kids. But they made a mistake, one they shouldn't have made, and the standard is the standard.
But like you said, this year you didn't have to make that decision.
100%.
So that shows that he's on board with everything you're doing.
100%. He is running the program, and I really am. I'm thankful for that he is here, and we have the right guy. We just have to have a couple of recruiting classes to get the depth. But the crazy thing is, we talked about off the air, is as crazy as this league is. I mean, we're still in the hunt.
I told Marcus before the show, I said, strangely enough, if they win the next 2 games, they're playing for first place at homecoming.
It's insane. It's absolutely insane.
And in all honesty, and I've said this before, when I looked at the schedule, you can win 4 of the next 5. You could win 5 of the next 6.
Yeah, for sure.
There's enough. Now you got to improve, but it's not like there's a disparity in the back end of the conference.
Right.
Your schedule was top heavy.
Oh, for sure. It was really top heavy, especially the first 2. And then, you come home and play, a really, really good Alcorn team. And then you go on the road and play the best team in the league. I mean, for sure. But hopefully now it evens up. And I've always believed that in a new system, whenever you put a new system in, usually you're better at the end than you are in the beginning of the year, and hopefully.
Well, that's how you got to grade this year, is on a curve.
For sure, absolutely.
And I want to see what they look like after the bye.
100%.
But the interesting thing is now we come back with all the bands and all that. Who's the band?
The Band of Heathens out of Austin, Texas.
I want you to say that.
The Band of Heathens. They're big time. I mean, they're out of Austin, Texas. They're legit. I mean, they open up for for real people.
Well, you have 4 weeks of the next 6 are at home.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that you're going to see some crowds. Southeastern's going to be a good crowd, especially for homecoming. Lamar always has a nice crowd.
Absolutely.
You've got a chance to really make some ground. If they show some things, you can start really selling this program the next 6
No question
weeks
about it. No question
for next
about
year.
it. Absolutely.
But you've put a target on everybody's back, you know.
Well, I mean,
Everybody wants to beat you guys pretty badly because of these.
I know, but you know what I always say? Is pressure is a privilege. There's not one team in our league that wouldn't want to host these tournaments. Trust me on that.
When we come back on Poke Nation, we're going to talk with Christian Shumate. Basketball already? After this.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. It's a privilege to have the human highlight reel here, Christian Shumate from men's basketball. Hey, great to be here, man. Thanks for being here.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I told you before we started filming, I asked the easy questions. Okay, Darth Vader, Gazzolo, or i.e. Gazzolo the Great, we'll ask the hard ones. But no. But welcome here. And so tell Poke Nation, you guys have started practice. How's it going?
It's been going good. We're getting along with the new guys. I think it's gonna carry over good with them. Everybody's getting along. Been doing some good things in practice. I'm just working to get better.
So what do you think is the biggest difference or improvement this year compared to last year?
I think the biggest difference will probably be how we all gel together so quickly. I mean, last year we did, but I feel like this year everyone's just more so got the same goals in mind and know what we want as a whole already. Those are the other things.
No, the biggest difference between this year and next year.
That'll probably be the biggest difference. Yeah.
And a year further away from your coaching days. For sure. That's fine. But, all right, Christian, to get into this as specifically as last year, you kind of, I don't want to say you exploded onto the scene, but you impressed a lot of people, especially with your inside game. But now that surprise is gone. What did you learn from last year, especially physical-wise with the league?
I learned that it was a physical league. They were telling me it was, and once we kind of got started into league play, I learned that it actually was a pretty physical league, and they don't, or they let you play through a lot of stuff, which I like, and I kind of just learned that I was physical enough to, bang and withstand a lot down low in the paint and just going through the lanes and stuff.
Now you're more of a jumper than a pounder, but did you have to kind of get into the weight room this year because of that?
Yeah, I did. I've been on some extra lifts. Lane does a great job already with putting weight on us and getting us stronger in general. And I feel like I've been able to move around guys and take a lot more than what I could last year. And I feel like it's going in the right track.
How much does it help to have the weight room right downstairs now?
A lot, actually. I like that a lot. Just so we can go right downstairs and just get a lift in.
What's the biggest thing? I'll kind of piggyback off what Jim asked you, but as a player, the off season makes the player, right?
Yeah.
Okay, and I've always said the off season makes the player, and the preseason makes the team. Okay, so what did you after the year? What did you work on? What did you go home in the summer? I know you were here this summer for 6 weeks or so too. What's the biggest thing you wanted to add to your game?
Honestly, just getting a lot of reps in my shot and tighten up my ball handling so I could open up my game out on the perimeter more, make open shots, make shots in general more, and just getting my confidence on my shot and getting my ball handle way tighter and my playmaking, just seeing the floor, so I can open things up more, see more things,
Right. So let's have a little fun here. So who are your roommates?
Trey, Raven, English.
Okay. So what's the best roommate story here? So what do you guys do on? So you guys obviously pick on each other, those kind of things. So how's the chemistry in the apartment?
It's good. We play a lot of games. We play Fortnite a lot. funniest story, my nephew from back home, he came to visit us for a while, and man, he was standing in our living room, and him and Trey, they probably fought for about a good 3-4 days straight. Man, it just go back and forth, just like an older brother and a little brother. Just
That's
fought
awesome.
all day, argue all day, fight over who playing the game. And I'm like, yeah,
Who does most of the cleaning and cooking?
me.
You do both the cleaning and cooking?
For the most part, yeah. He usually eat out, so you don't got too much cleaning to do. So yeah, I cook and clean a lot.
So let me ask you this. So, you know, obviously you were a transfer. You had a lot of options and a lot of places to go. What made you choose McNeese?
I just felt like it was a great spot. The way it all happened, it just like it was perfect almost for me. Like I was kind of scrambling last minute to see what I was gonna do, and Coach Gray got in contact with somebody that my dad was real, close with, and it was just like perfect timing, perfect place almost, and I committed like a day after, so it just kind of felt right.
Felt right.
It felt
That's
right,
awesome.
yeah.
How do you come from the Chicago suburbs to Lake Charles? What's the culture like? How did that change you?
It's real different. Just being near a big city and in a big city, it's a lot more to do, but at the same time, it's nice out here though. It's a little bit quieter, a little bit calmer, but I kind of enjoy it at times. But I think I feel like I adapted to it pretty quickly.
Oh, you don't have to wear the coat as much.
Yeah, you don't gotta worry about the code.
When we come back, we'll meet us after this on Poke Nation.
Welcome back to Poke Nation. Okay, all basketball here. We had Christian on. Now we have Thomas Gray, assistant basketball coach. Welcome aboard,
Thanks,
man. Thank
man.
you. Thanks for being here.
Blessed to be here with you guys.
Awesome. All right. So, oh
See
boy.
about that.
So let me ask you this, Thomas. Let's get right into it. I asked Christian, and Poke Nation wants to know too, right? Everyone, you get asked, I get asked. What's the biggest difference between this year and last year?
I think Christian did a good job. I was listening to what he said. He did a great job saying, it's the way the guys are compatible, right? Like they're getting along. They hang out more off the floor, as you know.
Yeah.
They've got to have, obviously camaraderie on the floor, but it starts off the floor, right? And so I think that is a huge part of it. But I think it's more like the type of guys we have, right? Like I know, John set the standard. The kind of our price of admission with our new recruits is like you got to be dependable guys. And I think we've got a bunch of like-minded guys that are really enjoying being around each other.
That's a big deal.
You guys are putting this all together on the fly like everybody else with the portal and that. What'd you learn from last year's group to this year's group as far as the vetting of and the kind of players you're looking for?
Well, I think, obviously, like I mentioned, I think it starts with like the type of person you are, right? Like, are you coming from a program where you were one of the hardest working guys, you were one of the guys that the coaches like to coach, whether you're a high school guy, junior college guy, Division I guy that's transferring, are you fitting that mold? And I think, regardless, I think we, as a staff have done a tremendous job of molding high school guys, junior college guys, Division I transfers, finding the right mix, not getting too much of one or the other, but more so finding guys, like doing the vetting process that fit, as I mentioned, that mold of being a dependable guy that coaches love to coach, that players love to play with.
A lot of people said, especially the first year, everybody kind of hit the portal.
Yes.
And said, we want to get the best portal guys. I saw in you guys as you brought in the newcomers, a lot of it, you guys have gone to a lot of freshmen again. Obviously, that's kind of a change of we want a quick fix, but we also want a long-term plan. Is that kind of almost a dual process?
That 100% is, and it starts with Coach Aiken. I mean, he saw the vision. What's happening is people are forgetting about these high school kids, right? Like everybody's getting so caught up in the portal, and so we're getting fixated on that. And there's a bunch of guys just waiting for the portal. Mm-hmm. Then you got guys like Donovan O'Day, who's sitting over there and has a chance. People are going to know him this year. Like people in Lake Charles, people in this conference, people in the United States of America know the name Donovan O'Day. Donovan O'Day was getting recruited by 2 Division I schools because everybody's so caught up in the portal. And so at the end of the day, like you can go and you can get stills like him. You can get stills like DeAndre Thomas, like guys that if it was 5 years ago and there's no portal, these guys would go they get flirted with high major schools. And so we're finding young guys that are capable to play right away. And so I mean not only this year but the future looks really, really good.
Well, and I also think, and you can maybe elaborate on this, but when you don't have a facility, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so you're recruiting to Burton, and you don't really know when you're going to get in here. We're talking about a year or so ago, over a year ago.
Yep.
You still have to field a team,
Yes.
right? But now that you have this building again, and the Mallet Performance Centers
Yes.
here and all that, I think it can attract and should attract a different caliber of kid.
No doubt about it.
I mean, have you seen that?
100%. Recruiting from, and as you know, probably more so than anybody in this room, recruiting a year and a half ago is a lot different than it was this past spring. Here at Lake Charles and at McNeese. You have, the Rockets were here last week, right? And so one of their owners comes up to me and is like, we're going to be here every year because not only this city, but this facility, the setup you guys have, the administration that we have, and so we're set up to be successful, and kids see that, families see that, parents see that when they come in here, and they can, and it's one thing to see the outside of a building and say, hey, we're going to be in there eventually, like you had to do, but to actually come through here to see the Mallet Performance Center being built, and obviously now it's ready to go. To see the practice facility, to be able to walk in here and actually, watch our guys practice, it's a different deal. And so you're able to attract kids that, they're passing up schools that quote unquote may be theoretically bigger schools or whatever to come here because they see the vision not only of this place, but where this place is going, right?
Right. So I always say this, when I coach, and the best teams I ever had, we had really good guards. Okay, the teams that we struggled, our guards weren't quite good enough. How good's our guards?
100%, and I'm learning after 1 year, this is a guard league, right? And you can have the Shamarcus Kennedys, the Roydell Browns, the Christian Shumate to the world, but you got to have guards that can get the ball to them, that can bring the ball up the court, and that can go get a bucket late in the shot clock. We are extremely excited about the group of guards that we have, and I mentioned the young freshman, Donovan O'Day, but you talk about Zach Scott, a guy who should be first team all conference coming back, and you got a guy like John Massey, who his growth from last year to this year, you've seen him in practice a little. I mean, the kid is phenomenal. And then you've got a transfer that the starting point guard at Southern Miss last year decided that he wanted to come to McNeese State, right? And so in Rashad Bolden, Rashad has just gotten back, started practice from a little shin splint deal, and it was tremendous in our last 2 days of practice. And the list goes on. Rajon Blackwell. I mean, we are as excited about our group of guards as probably you guys have been since we've been.
A lot of excitement, a lot of hope. We'll get Coach's final comments after this on Poke Nation. Well, we're back. Basketball. All I ever hear from you is basketball. But I do want to know that the Rockets were here.
Yeah.
He made mention of the fact that the Rockets want to come back.
They do.
That's a nice feather in your cap because that is something you can sell to people that, hey, we're a good enough facility that the Rockets want to come here.
For sure. I mean, we have become now the official training facility of the Houston Rockets. I mean, that's where they're going to have training camp. We're working on having having them here yearly. They want to be here. We just have to get the schedules and all those things.
I'm sorry.
There has been conversations about it, a preseason game.
Yeah, obviously a preseason game though.
But
I know.
What I'd love to do is get the Pelicans and the Rockets to play a preseason game here. That would be really cool.
Well, the thing is, Lake Charles has had a preseason game here before.
Right.
And also, it used to be more so than now that's what the NBA did, was play in facilities like this to give kind of crowds that don't usually see them a chance to get them up close.
Absolutely.
A lot of guys aren't going to play there. The big guys aren't going to play, but just to get them in the building.
Absolutely.
So that would be nice.
That'd be really cool. Absolutely. There have been conversations about it for sure.
Well, that's good. Now, where would I sit? Because the rumor is I'm going to be way up here over here.
No. Listen, Gazzolo the
I
Great.
hear a lot of rumors that I'm going to be like, not even in the building.
Where you can sit wherever you want.
No, I don't think so.
I mean, we'll take care of you.
So it's not going to be on the bench, that's for sure. You never say. Every time I watched you, you were getting thrown out of the building almost.
Almost, yeah. Sometimes I wish I would have.
I'm sure you did. Okay, heading into basketball season,
Yeah.
but more importantly, the end of football season, kind of the crossover for you guys. How does that change your staff in a way that you're now going to be hosting tournaments, including a mid-major, which is really impressive, and some big-time events? You're going to have a lot on your plate in November.
It's a lot. We actually, in our staff meeting today, we talked about we're hosting an MTE basketball tournament on a block party Friday and a football game Saturday.
So you have a home football game and a tournament here.
We do.
Wow.
And so it's a lot of moving parts, just and things that people don't even think about, but parking, right? Like
Sure.
parking, concessions, being able to operate this game, like to run a basketball game, it takes multiple people, right? I mean, you have to write the script, all that stuff, and then same thing with football. So it's a lot, but it's like I told our staff today, we just got to we're starting to work on it now, obviously, not the week of, but it's a lot. But to be able to, like you said, to host a mid-major tournament here in Lake Charles is something that we just couldn't pass up.
So you're going to have a block party and basketball games here at the same time.
The games should be over by then. They're going to go early on
Yeah.
Friday and Saturday because of parking with football. So that's why we're trying to do it. But 100%, we're going to play 2 basketball games. We're going to have a block party. Saturday we're going to play 2 basketball games. We're going to have a football game, and Sunday we have a basketball game.
And what day is that?
It's in November.
I think I'm going to take that weekend off. I can't
Don't do that.
No, but that's a lot of stuff.
It's a lot, but it'd be good. It'd be really good.
Well, we had football and baseball in the spring though one year
I know,
on campus.
for sure.
So you guys can do that.
We
But
can do it.
football, basketball is a little different.
It's going to be a lot, and it's what I said earlier in the very first segment, Jim, is that people really don't realize all that goes into running a game or running a department, and what my staff, I thank them every day. I mean, I don't thank them enough. I need to thank them every day for, number one, being here. They're all underpaid. They're all overworked. But they do it because of a passion and a love for the career, and also for this place. And we're very, very fortunate to have the staff that we have.
That's going to be an interesting weekend. But this weekend,
Big.
suddenly Commerce, this is a big football game.
Yeah. But remember now, Commerce won a Division II championship not too many years ago.
No, but I'm just saying that this was not. I assumed Southeastern and Incarnate Word would be the best 2 teams, but all of a sudden, there's 4 teams in a race.
No question. And
The undefeated teams are Commerce, Northwestern State, and would have been Houston Christian.
that's right.
I don't think that was expected.
Crazy.
But that's got to make Chris Grant look good though, because that's good.
There's a lot of balance in the league, and Commerce, it was, like I said, they won a Division II national championship a couple years ago. So they're used to winning. They're not intimidated by coming in this league. And I think the league is really good. I think it's very, very balanced. But it's like I told Coach, I mean, when you look at our attendance factor, or attendance numbers, and you look at all the things that we do, we have an opportunity, and we got to do it, but we have an opportunity to get back to what we were.
Yeah.
It's just going to take some time, but the bones...
But it takes 2 to 3 recruiting cycles.
For sure. And think about it. I mean,
You've had 1.
we've had 4 head coaches in 5 years. We did.
Yeah.
I mean, this past spring was the first spring that we've had in a couple years because of COVID and the hurricanes. I mean, we're just, as a program, we're just behind. But now, for the first time in 20 years, we're trying to fund it the right way.
Well, you're trying to do it right.
Absolutely. And we'll get there.
And Polk Nation is a big part of it.
It is.
That's
It's a
what you know.
huge deal. It's a huge deal. All because of Gazzolo the Great.
Oh, that's right. We'll see you next week.